Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every person's life when the ground beneath them shakes, not from their own missteps, but from the deliberate actions of those they trusted. Betrayal, the knife in the back, the sting of realization that someone you believed in never believed in you. They thought it would shatter you. They thought you would crumble, that you would drown in your own sorrow, that you would lose yourself in bitterness and regret. But here's what they never understood. Betrayal doesn't break the strong. It reveals them. At first you felt the weight of it all, the disbelief, the anger, the deep ache of knowing that someone you held close had chosen to turn against you. And yes, for a moment, you might have stumbled. But here's where the story shifts, because while they expected you to fall, you chose to rise. You see, pain is a currency. You can spend it on resentment, or you can invest it in growth. The weak will wallow, the strong will build. And that's exactly what you did. While they spent their time gloating, you spent yours sharpening your mind, your skills, your vision. While they reveled in your supposed downfall, you laid the foundation for something greater. And now, here you stand, not just unbroken, but stronger than ever. And what of them, the ones who betrayed, the ones who thought they had the power to destroy you? They're the ones facing the wreckage now, not because you sought revenge, but because life has a way of setting the balance right. You were tested, and you emerged transformed. But they are left to wrestle with the weight of their own actions. The lesson here is simple. Betrayal may sting, but it does not define you. It is a chapter, not the whole book. And in the end, the best response is not rage, it is mastery. Mastery over your emotions, your purpose, your future. So, to anyone who has faced the pain of deception, I say this: let them think they've won. Let them believe you are broken. And then, quietly, relentlessly, prove them wrong. Not through words, not through vengeance, but through undeniable, unstoppable success. They thought betrayal would break you. Now they're the ones shattered. Resilience over ruin. Betrayal strikes like a storm, unexpected, relentless, and devastating. It shakes the very foundation of trust, leaving behind a landscape of doubt and disillusionment. When it happens, the immediate instinct is to recoil, to wonder if this wound is fatal. But here's the truth. Betrayal is not the end of your story. It's the start of your rebirth. Many believe that when someone betrays you, they take something from you, your dignity, your confidence, your sense of security. But that's only true if you allow it to be. Betrayal is not about what they take, it's about what you choose to build in its aftermath. The pain you feel is not a sign of weakness. It is the forge in which strength is tempered. Think about the most unshakable individuals in history, those who stood tall despite the storms of deception and treachery. Were they spared from betrayal? No. In fact, the strongest people are often the ones who have endured the deepest wounds. What separates them from the broken is a simple decision. They refuse to let betrayal define them. Resilience is not just about surviving betrayal. It's about using it as fuel. When people turn against you, they are betting on your collapse. They are hoping that their deception, their lies, or their abandonment will be enough to break your spirit. And for a moment, maybe it does. Maybe you feel lost. Maybe you question everything. But resilience is the moment you stand back up, stronger, sharper, and more determined than before. Your resilience is the moment you stand back up, stronger, sharper, and more determined than before. This is not about ignoring pain. It is not about pretending that betrayal doesn't hurt. It does, and it should. But resilience means facing that pain head on, understanding its lessons, and using it to grow. It means choosing to rise, not just in defiance of those who wronged you, but in honor of your own potential. Betrayal does not ruin the resilient, it reveals them. And those who thought they could break you will one day realize they were never strong enough to stop you. Character over comfort. Adversity is the great revealer. It doesn't create your character, it exposes what was already there. And betrayal, perhaps more than any other hardship, forces a confrontation between who you were and who you must become. When someone you trust turns against you, your first reaction is not just pain, it's disorientation. You question not only them, but yourself. How did I not see this coming? Was I naive? Am I too weak? These are the thoughts that haunt the betrayed. But here's the reality. The fact that you feel pain is not a reflection of weakness. It is proof of your capacity to trust, to believe in the good, and to invest in others. Those are not traits of the weak, they are traits of the strong. However, betrayal demands a choice. You can let it harden you, turning you bitter and cynical, or you can let it refine you, deepening your wisdom without corrupting your heart. The comfortable choice, the easy one, is to withdraw, to build walls so high that no one can ever hurt you again. But that is the choice of the fearful, not the courageous. True strength lies in staying open, in learning from the experience without allowing it to define your future. Think of the greatest figures in history, the ones who shaped the world. Did they live in comfort? No. They were tested, betrayed, and challenged at every turn. But what made them unbreakable was not their circumstances, it was their response to those circumstances. They chose integrity over bitterness, resilience over self-pity, and growth over stagnation. Betrayal is a mirror. It forces you to look at yourself with brutal honesty. Were you too trusting? Did you ignore red flags? Were you placing your worth in the hands of those who never deserved it? These are difficult questions, but answering them is how you grow. Comfort is seductive, but it does not build character. Adversity does. And in the aftermath of betrayal, you have a rare opportunity not just to recover, but to evolve. Those who betrayed you thought they were tearing you down. Instead, they handed you the very fire needed to forge an unshakable foundation. So, when faced with betrayal, do not seek comfort, seek character. Because while the comfortable remain stagnant, those who embrace their trials emerge as something far greater than their enemies ever anticipated. Truth over illusion. Betrayal is not just a wound, it is an unveiling. It strips away the illusion of safety, the comforting belief that everyone who smiles at you has your best interests at heart. It forces you to see the world and yourself with unfiltered clarity. And while the pain is undeniable, the revelation it brings is invaluable. We like to believe that we are excellent judges of character, that we can tell the difference between loyalty and pretense, between sincerity and manipulation. But betrayal shakes that confidence. It makes you ask, how could I have missed the signs? How did I not see this coming? Was I blind? These are questions that can haunt a person, but they are also the doorway to wisdom. The truth is, deception thrives where we refuse to look. People don't betray out of nowhere. There are always clues, always inconsistencies, always moments when something felt off, even if we brushed them aside. Maybe it was a gut feeling you ignored. Maybe it was a small lie you excused. Maybe it was a pattern of behavior that you explained away because the alternative, the truth, was too painful to accept. Betrayal is the shattering of illusion, but that is not a bad thing. It is painful, yes, but it is also necessary, because to live in illusion is to live in weakness. When you finally see people for who they are, not who you wished they were, you gain an extraordinary kind of power. You stop seeking approval from those who do not value you. You stop tolerating behaviors that drain you. You stop wasting time on people who do not deserve your loyalty. And what of the betrayers? They built their schemes under the assumption that you would never see the truth, that you would remain naive, easy to manipulate, always giving them the benefit of the doubt. They underestimated you, because once the truth is revealed, you can never go back to who you were before. You become sharper, wiser, more discerning. This is why betrayal does not weaken the strong, it strengthens them. It is not a loss, it is an awakening. The ones who sought to deceive you thought they were taking advantage of your ignorance, but in reality, they were giving you an education. They thought they were breaking you, but they were setting you free. So do not mourn the loss of illusion. Do not lament the destruction of false relationships. What has been taken from you was never real to begin with, and in its place you have been given something infinitely more valuable: clarity. And with clarity comes strength. Because in the end, those who live in truth will always outlast those who hide behind lies. And the ones who sought to deceive you will one day realize that the only thing they truly destroyed was themselves. Success over revenge. When betrayal strikes, the natural instinct is to retaliate. The desire for revenge burns hot, fueled by the injustice of it all. They hurt you, and now part of you wants them to feel the same pain. You want them to regret, to suffer, to understand the depth of their mistake. But here's the hard truth. Revenge is a distraction, not a solution. It keeps you chained to the very people who tried to bring you down. The true response to betrayal is not destruction, it is elevation. Not proving them wrong by sinking to their level, but by rising so far above them that they can no longer reach you. Those who betray you expect rage. They expect you to lash out, to waste your energy trying to strike back. But what they don't expect is silence. They don't expect you to walk away and build something so powerful that their actions become irrelevant. Success is the ultimate answer, because it shifts the focus from them to you. Instead of asking, how do I make them pay? You begin asking, how do I make myself unstoppable? This is not about ignoring what happened. It is about refusing to let it define your future. Because every moment you spend plotting revenge is a moment stolen from your growth, your purpose. Think about the most influential, unshakable people in history. Were they never betrayed? No. In fact, they were often betrayed by those closest to them, but they did not waste time chasing retribution. They had a mission greater than their anger. They turned their pain into fuel, their heartbreak into wisdom, their loss into power. And in the end, they thrived, not because they sought vengeance, but because they outgrew those who sought to destroy them. This is where strength is tested. It takes discipline to walk away. It takes wisdom to understand that the greatest punishment for those who betrayed you is watching you succeed beyond their wildest imagination. When you focus on building yourself, you rob them of the satisfaction of seeing you fall. You turn their attempt to break you into the very thing that makes you unstoppable. And what happens to them? The ones who deceived, who lied, who thought they had power over you, they are left behind. Because betrayal is not just an attack, it is a revelation. It reveals who they are, yes, but more importantly, it reveals who they are not. They are not strong enough to walk in truth. They are not wise enough to build something real. They are not capable of standing beside someone like you. So let them talk. Let them watch. Let them sit in the ruins of their own choices while you rise. Do not give them the satisfaction of your anger. Give them the silence of your indifference and the undeniable proof of your success. Because while revenge is temporary, success is eternal. And in the end, the best response to betrayal is not hatred, it is mastery. Mastery over your mind, mastery over your emotions, mastery over your future. They thought they could break you. Instead, they gave you the fire to become untouchable. Wisdom over bitterness. Betrayal changes you. That is inevitable. You do not walk away from deception, from broken trust, from deep wounds, and remain the same person you were before. The question is not whether betrayal will shape you. It will. The real question is how it will shape you. Will it make you bitter or will it make you wise? Bitterness is the easy path. It requires no discipline, no effort. It is the default reaction when trust is shattered. You feel the sting of betrayal and suddenly the world looks darker. You start seeing enemies where there are none. You tell yourself that trusting was a mistake, that kindness is a weakness, that love is a risk not worth taking. Bitterness convinces you that the answer to pain is to shut down, to build walls so high that no one can ever hurt you again. But here is the truth. Bitterness does not protect you. It imprisons you. It keeps you locked in a cycle of resentment, reliving the betrayal over and over, long after the betrayer has moved on. It robs you of joy, of connection, of the ability to truly live. And worst of all, it lets the betrayer win, because while you remain trapped in anger, they continue with their lives, unaffected by the damage they caused. Wisdom, on the other hand, is harder. It demands introspection. It requires you to sit with your pain and ask the tough questions. What can I learn from this? What did this experience reveal about me? How can I use this to grow instead of shrink? Wisdom does not deny the reality of betrayal. It embraces it as a lesson. It does not make excuses for the betrayer, but it also does not allow them to dictate your future. It acknowledges that pain is a teacher, and every experience, no matter how brutal, carries a lesson worth learning. When you choose wisdom over bitterness, you reclaim your power. You recognize that while you cannot control what others do, you can control how you respond. You stop seeing yourself as a victim and start seeing yourself as someone who endured and evolved. You become sharper, more discerning, more attuned to the subtle signs that you once ignored. You develop the ability to trust without being naive, to love without being blind, to stand strong without being hardened by cynicism. And this is what the betrayers never understand. They think their actions will leave you broken, resentful, lost. They think they have the power to turn you into someone bitter and defeated. But when you choose wisdom, you prove them wrong in the most profound way possible, by refusing to let their actions define your future. Bitterness is a prison. Wisdom is a doorway. And when you walk through that doorway, you step into a life not ruled by anger, but by clarity and strength. You take the lesson, leave the pain behind, and move forward with a depth of understanding that only hardship can provide. Betrayal did not ruin you. It refined you. It stripped away illusion, strengthened your character, and gave you the insight to navigate life with greater awareness. The ones who sought to harm you, they are the ones left in the past, shackled by their own choices, while you walk forward, wiser, stronger, and utterly unstoppable.